Remember when Trump tried to steal the election in 2020 and caused an insurrection? So the federal investigation into Trump developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the president engaged in criminal activity. This is verbatim what former Special Prosecutor Jack Smith said under oath in front of the House Judiciary Committee. And as part of this hearing, which was one of Jack Smith's first public appearance to defend the two cases he brought against Trump, one over Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. And this hearing was so big because it was Jack Smith's first public appearance defending these two cases. You see, Jack Smith was the prosecutor that was looking into two cases. The first was Trump's efforts to overtake the election in 2020, and also the second case was his mishandling of classified documents. It is 6 years after January 6th happened, and the president is still pushing his false claims that the election was stolen and that there was some election fraud or rigging. And so this meeting between Jack Smith and the House Judiciary Committee ended up being about two things: whether Jack Smith's investigation was politically motivated, and over whether he actually had sufficient enough evidence to prove that Trump had committed these crimes. The former is not at all true. He had no political motivations, and the latter is absolutely true. There is sufficient enough evidence to prove that Trump did attempt to overturn the election in 2020. And of course, Republicans during this meeting went out to defend Trump, saying that this entire investigation was part of a political campaign to weaponize the DOJ against Trump in the election of 2024. Democrats, on the other hand, used the time to actually defend the investigation as legitimate and lay out how Trump's alleged conduct in these cases were shut down after he was elected. So not only did Trump try to overturn the election in 2020, but when there was a special investigation into his attempts to do so, he shut that investigation down and then continued to attack the special prosecutor and his team for it. And this is why this meeting between Jack Smith and the committee is so important, especially after this much time, because Trump likely sees Jack Smith as a top political enemy and will be willing to prosecute him over anything, just like he's done in New York with Letitia James, just like he's done with the Fed with Jerome Powell, and just like he's done with Minnesota lawmakers. But you know what? Jack Smith is not going to go down without fighting. He said in his opening statement that he did everything by the book, everything by DOJ policies, and everything he found in that investigation was based on facts and not politics. Jack Smith and his team found that yes, Trump did engage in an illegal scheme in order to overturn the election in 2020. And they also found that Trump illegally kept classified documents after leaving office and refused to turn them in. And now, of course, Jack Smith and your average American agrees that this investigation proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump had engaged in criminal activity.